Welcome back. Today, we're diving deep into an educational technology called ALT. Now, this is something designed to completely change the game for inclusive learning, and we're going to break down exactly how it works.
You know, it's pretty much the biggest question every educator on the planet has to ask themselves. How do you create a learning experience that works for every single kid? We're talking neurotypical students, neurodivergent students, all in the same room at the same time. It's a massive challenge, and it's exactly what we're tackling today.
So here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the core challenge, then I'll introduce you to the ALT solution, we'll get into the science that makes it all tick, see how it actually looks in a classroom, and then wrap up with what this all means for the future of education.
All right, so first up, let's talk about the problem. It is incredibly difficult to create one learning environment that truly works for everybody, especially when you have students with such different needs, like those with autism spectrum disorder or ADHD, right alongside their peers. There's a gap there, and it really needs to be bridged.
The company that's stepping up to this challenge is MBR Educational Technology. Now, this isn't some startup that just appeared. Founded by Moises Bernardo, MBR has been a trailblazer in EdTech for over 30 years. I mean, they've already reached 6 million students across the globe, so they bring a serious amount of experience to the table.
And that experience brings us to ALT. This is NBR's solution, and it's a big deal. We're talking about what's being called the very first technological tool that's been proven to support the development of both neurodivergent and neurotypical children, at the same time in the same environment. That's a huge claim.
So what is ALT exactly? Well, at its heart, it's an adaptive learning software for kids aged 4 to 14. It uses gamification, basically turning learning into a really fun game, and meshes that with neuroscience to build an experience that's totally personalized. The whole idea is that it adapts to each child's unique way of learning.
And who's it for? Well, pretty much everyone. The range here is incredibly broad. ALT isn't just a niche tool for certain students. It's designed to create this one unified ecosystem where every single learner, no matter their profile, can thrive together.
Okay, so how does it actually work? This is so much more than just a bunch of fun games. Nope, ALT is built on a really solid scientific foundation. It pulls from several powerful evidence-based methods to make sure the learning is not just fun, but super effective.
The first pillar here is something called neuroeducation. This is all about understanding how our brains are actually wired to learn. So ALT uses very specific visual and audio cues that are designed to sync up with how kids process information, which helps maximize their memory and make sure what they learn actually sticks.
ALT also pulls from two other heavy hitters. On one side, you've got applied behavior analysis, or ABA, which is all about using positive reinforcement to help build skills. And on the other side, you have the TEACH method. This one focuses on creating a really structured and predictable environment, using lots of visual aids to help lower anxiety and build a sense of independence and safety.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because this chart shows why ALT's hands-on approach is such a game changer. According to William Glasser's research, we only remember about 10% of what we read. That's not great. But look what happens when you get to actually practicing something. That number skyrockets to 80% retention. By being so interactive, ALT pushes students way up that learning pyramid.
Okay, so that's all the theory, but how does this actually come to life in a real classroom? How does a teacher take all these powerful ideas and weave them into their daily routine?
Well, one really popular way is the flipped classroom model. The idea is simple. Students get their first taste of a new topic at home playing through ALT's games, and that frees up precious class time for what really matters: interactive discussions, group projects, and hands-on activities led by the teacher. Learning becomes something you do, not just something you listen to.
Another fantastic model is station rotation. Imagine the classroom divided into different zones. A student might start at a reading station, then move over to the digital station to use ALT, then to a sensory station to work with different textures, and finish up at a creative or movement station. This kind of dynamic environment caters to all the different ways kids learn. It's brilliant.
So what does this all add up to? The crucial point here is that this isn't just about a new teaching gadget. This is about a much bigger vision for what education can be, and the real tangible impact it can have on students' lives and on our school systems as a whole.
And we're not just guessing here. The results are measurable. The data suggests that putting a system like ALT into place has the potential to cut school dropout rates by 15%. And even more amazing, it could boost the active participation of students with special needs in regular classrooms by a whopping 25%. Those are huge numbers.
And what's really cool is that this entire approach lines up perfectly with global standards. UNESCO talks about the 4 pillars of education for creating well-rounded people. And ALT hits every single one. It fosters curiosity, which is learning to know. It's all about applying that knowledge or learning to do. It encourages collaboration, learning to live together, and it builds confidence and autonomy, which is learning to be.
Now, a massive piece of this puzzle is the content itself. You can have the best technology in the world, but what are the kids actually learning? That's why MBR partnered with Britannica Education, a name that's been synonymous with trustworthy, high-quality information for over 250 years. This ensures the educational foundation is absolutely rock solid.
And that partnership is critical. It's not just a nice-to-have, it's a must-have. Because study after study shows the real dangers of letting kids loose with uncurated digital content. It can hurt their ability to concentrate, it can reinforce harmful stereotypes, and it can even lead to higher levels of anxiety. So, quality control is everything.
And that brings us right back to the beginning. ALT offers a glimpse of a future where technology isn't a classroom distraction, but a powerful, powerful tool for genuine inclusion. It really just leaves us with one profound question. What if we could finally build a classroom where personalized, safe, and truly effective learning isn't just a dream for a lucky few, but a reality for all?